Hi, officer.
Hello.
Would you mind showing me around your police car and telling me what's what,
Yeah.
please?
This is Mitsubishi Shogun.
Okay.
It's come from our traffic division. It's one of our vehicles that we use every day.
Wow.
We patrol the motorways, the A roads, and generally the smaller roads when need be. In the back, show you
What speed can they go up to?
I'm not sure what the top speed is, but
right.
it can do sort of over 100.
Okay. Wow.
It's a big car, big heavy car, and it is diesel, but it does drive like a car.
Okay.
So it's quite nice to drive, and you know it's not like the old models where it just felt like a big tractor. So it is quite good, and it can get to speeds eventually on the motorways.
Brilliant. Wow.
When we have to deal with something on a fast road, we might have to put out cones sometimes.
Okay.
So we always carry 10 cones with us. We carry the blue lights, which they're quite clever lights, because if you line them up and you switch on the first one, they'll automatically go on in a row.
Wow.
So it'll flash.
So they're intelligent.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's clever.
So whenever we need to put the cones out, we'll put a light next to each cone, so that obviously you can see it if it's dark or on the busy roads.
Okay.
And hopefully it keeps the traffic away.
Fantastic.
We've got brooms and shovels to clean up any debris off the roads. For any accidents, we've got tow ropes to get any broken down vehicles off of the roads.
Wow.
Or obviously, after an accident, if something can't be driven, then we just tow it out the way. Fire extinguishers for any small fires that we have. Big heavy duty tow bar that we can get most vehicles out of the way with.
Do you want to put it on the door?
Our Stinger, you might have seen it on the TV.
Wow.
Open that up, there's safety gloves and goggles in there, which we need to wear all the time.
Okay.
It's one of those where you might have seen, you throw it out, it's like a big rack with spikes coming out, and then we just need to make sure we put it back before anyone else drives over
Right.
it.
Okay, that's fantastic.
That's all the kit that we've got. Inside the vehicles, again, we've got a small fire extinguisher for any small fires again.
Okay.
We've got a glass breaker in case we need to get into any vehicles.
Okay.
It quite easily breaks the glass, and that is a seatbelt cutter.
Wow.
So we can cut off the seatbelts if we need to in any case of accidents.
Wow, it's all to hand.
Yeah. We've got the computers, which are off at the moment. We've got a video screen, which has got a forward-facing camera and a rear-facing camera, which is on the roof.
Wow, I want one.
So do I.
All right, okay.
We can obviously watch people in real time. We can record any events. If we stop someone and we need evidence of any offences,
Right.
we can record it. We can also play back on the screen.
It must be in high definition. It's crystal clear, I suppose.
Yeah, it's quite a good picture.
Okay.
We can use USB sticks to download any clips that we need.
Oh, really?
And then obviously we can transfer it onto CDs if it needs to be played at court or any later dates.
That's clever.
It's also got an ANPR system, which is automatic number plate recognition. It scans using the front and the back cameras, all the vehicles that pass us. It reads the number plates. Within seconds we get a response as to if there's any reports on there. If someone's got reported as no insurance or driving offences, all kinds of things.
If they haven't renewed their MOT, maybe?
That's one of the things that come up.
If they... there's a few things you have to do, isn't it? No insurance, no MOT, and what's the third one?
No tax.
Tax, yeah.
Yeah, that comes up in our systems.
While you mentioned it, I'm gonna look if your tax is up to date.
I hope so. I did check it this morning.
You are, because you knew somebody's going to ask you that. All right.
September it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we leave the station every morning, we've got to do a check on the vehicles.
All right.
We have to check all the lights are working.
Okay.
We have to check that there's no damage on the cars. We have to check all the tyres to make sure the tread is, within legal limits.
Okay.
We need to check the tyre pressures. And just generally make sure that it's in a clean, good condition to go out, basically. Because we wash our cars every day. when we get back in after a shift.
Oh, every day, wow.
Yep, after every shift we wash our cars, so it could be clean 3 times a day within 24 hours. You know, we do take pride in our appearance.
In what you do?
Yeah,
Right.
because, you know, I mean, you don't want to see sort of a dirty, you know, unkept car on the street, because we're dealing with people, you know, who may have faults and
you want to present the standard which you want other people to drive their vehicles.
Yeah.
Is there a few more things? I wanted to ask you, is it the automatic and the 4-wheel drive? Is that what the 2 things are?
It is an automatic vehicle.
Okay.
But you do have the option of having 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
We always keep it in 4-wheel drive. We don't use it in any other mode.
Right.
And obviously it's just your general straightforward automatic gearbox.
Okay.
Yeah. All the buttons for the lights. Our 999 button illuminates all the lights at the same time.
All right, when you're going to an emergency, 999.
So when we get a call in, you just have to press that button, and then everything comes up. The sirens are through the horn, so if you tap the horn, you get the siren.
All right, wow.
You might hear when a police vehicle or an emergency vehicle comes to traffic. You might hear the horn every now and again.
Okay.
That's because every time you tap it, it changes the tone. So you know, people get accustomed to sounds, as we say. So when you hear the same siren all the time, people tend to block it out.
Right.
What we do is when we get to junctions or different types of roads, we change the siren, maybe just to jog people's, you know, just their thoughts, and it's a new sound that comes into your head, and hopefully they recognise it a bit sooner. I
get it. Okay. So, thank you for your time. I think you've covered every part of your vehicle. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Travels in India, London and the UK. I've put over 2,000 videos up. The choice is completely yours, but I'm twisting your arm a little bit. Would you allow me to put this video on my channel?
I'm happy to.
You're happy to do it?
Your expectations.
No, it's fine. I'm really happy to get a peek inside the vehicle. It's a little bit of a privilege because you usually see them shooting past, and you wonder what's going on inside. So I really appreciate that. Are you an officer locally? No.
I'm based in Alperton.
Okay.
In our traffic garage.
Wow,
There's one question that people always ask us, and you haven't. But people seem to tend to think that we use sirens to get through traffic. Do you ever come across that?
I think that some of your colleagues might be guilty of that.
Really?
But I don't know if it's very difficult to tell, because you do a job, and I suppose that's one of the perks of the job, that you can do it, but I know you're not supposed to do it.
It's not a perk of the job, trust me. No, I think the reason behind that is because when we get a call and we obviously put the lights and the sirens on, and we're trying to get to somewhere, sometimes the circumstances change where they no longer need us.
Right.
So you know, someone else might have arrived and be able to deal with the situation who was closer, or you know, the incident might have now moved on, and you know, basically we're no longer needed.
Okay.
And obviously, I think what a lot of people in traffic see is a police car whizzing past with, you know, lights and sirens on, and then all of a sudden they all get switched off.
Right.
And, you know, generally I think people seem to think that maybe it was trying to get through traffic, or you know.
It's misleading. It's a little bit misleading. You undergo a lot of training, police officers, at Camden Police Academy, and I think it's a 7-month. Is it a 7-month? No, it's an intensive 3-month course.
They do different courses now.
Okay.
It used to be, I think, 5 or 6 months before.
Right.
But it was split because you would spend a couple of weeks at Hendon and then studying certain, you know, crimes or activities.
Yeah.
And then what they would do is go out of the police college onto the real streets and deal with those crimes.
Right.
So where you're learning about it in a classroom environment, and maybe through role play, you then go out and just only deal with those, you know, those
call-outs. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you're kind of getting the real life, and then we go back and you learn a bit more and different topics, and then obviously you're back out on the street dealing with it in the real world again. So that's how it's done sometimes. I mean, that's how when I was at Hendon it was dealt with. It's called street duties basically. So you're out on the street whilst you're learning, but you're covering those crimes that you've studied in Hendon, and you're now supposed to be capable of dealing with.
And related to that, obviously you learn some form of self-defense.
Yeah.
Is it a particular style of self-defense they teach all officers, like taekwondo or something, or karate, or judo, or is it a combination?
It's not self-defense itself, is in like the martial arts form.
Yeah.
What we call it is officer safety training.
All right.
So what it is basically being aware of your surroundings, picking up on people's attitudes and behaviours and stuff like that, and learning how to deal with it basically. All it is making sure that there's a safe distance. We get trained on how to use our batons. They're supposed to be held in a particular way. You're supposed to use them in a particular way. It's the same with our CS spray. We get training on how to use that and the side effects, and obviously the aftercare of any officer safety techniques that we may use, because basically if I was to use my spray on somebody or my baton on someone, I wouldn't expect to just hit somebody and just leave them there. You do have a duty of care, and obviously there was a need to do it in the first place, but we still need to care for that person.
For sure. So it's the welfare of the
Yeah, so it's not only our safety; it's obviously looking after the person the people that we're dealing with as well.
All right.
But we all undergo officer safety training. It's exactly the same throughout the whole Met. We do it twice a year. And so, if I do my training in a certain place, it will be exactly the same for other officers.
It's consistency throughout. Okay. One more question, and then I'll leave you to it. In this politically correct world we live in now, where people who sweep the roads are not called road sweepers anymore, they're called operatives. Are the people you arrest and people like that, do you call them customers at all? Are they your customers?
They have been called customers in the past.
All right.
We don't really call them anything,
All right.
Suspects, depending on obviously what the situation is.
Okay.
Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, aren't they? So, we deal with people accordingly and appropriately.
All right, wow.
And just hope for the best outcome.
Brilliant.
We're here just to try and keep the streets safe and safe for people to use.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, officer.
You're welcome.
And thank you for showing me around and saying a few words. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
God bless.
Oh, he's just cheeky, Pretty sure he's getting cheeky around people. Yeah.